Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and yet another episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Now today, in this episode, before we start things off, we're going to look at how the situation looks in terms of the R&D in both the general scale on the graph and also engine, aero and chassis departments. And I've left images on screen, you guys can pause them for as long as you like to really look in detail as to how the season has come along. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk to you about some other things in the background. Now, first of all, we did miss the last race, guys, earlier on today for the Russian Grand Prix. Then click on the card in the top right-hand corner of your screen because today was a double upload because I missed a episode yesterday. So do check that out if you did miss it by chance. And today we are here for the Japanese Grand Prix, run number 17 of the season, and starting to really get towards the tail end of the season now. And I want to discuss about the upgrades and planning for the next few races because basically I took your comments on board and your feedback, and basically what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to first of all purchase all the things that are affected by the regulation change for next season. Once we've done that and we can protect ourselves, I'm then going to buy, as you can see on screen right now, the pending aero upgrade, which is currently half finished because it failed on us. And then once I've done that, I'm purely going to focus on improving the department quality, so how cheap or expensive the upgrades are, and also the chance of failures as well. Basically, we're going to try and future-proof the car for next season, so make sure that we're not affected by the R&D shuffle for next year. We're also going to make sure that we have a lesser chance of failures and also cheaper and quicker parts arriving. And also, I'm going to focus on durability to try and improve reliability for next season. So essentially, we're going to try and work on the rest of the car and the team package to really make sure the car is in best shape and best prepared for next season. And then basically once Australia comes next year, we can tackle it head on and really go for that massive performance boost to really get into that top three and become a top team. But overall, I think that's the plan. Let me know in the comments down below, guys, what you think of that. And I'll see your comments after this episode, and I'll try and reply to as many of you as I can. As I always, try to make sure I reply to every single comment. But today, we are here for the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka, one of my favorite tracks on the calendar and one that I absolutely love. So I cannot wait to get started here. It's going to be a very interesting race weekend, a very interesting track, and it's actually changed a bit to last year's game, not in terms of visibles, in terms of what I can notice, but it definitely feels different. There's a lot more bumps on the track and a lot more sort of undulations, and also places to lose the back end, especially through the final corner where there's a massive bump now where the pit entry is. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. Also, I've noticed recently I've been having some ERS trouble, which is basically in the bottom right where the D is on the white bar, which is a deployment. I'm actually using that up before the end of the lap, so therefore I'm actually running out of ERS before the end of the lap even finishes. So that's becoming a big issue for me in this season.
Okay, super job so far. We're getting great data. Stay focused.
And I've realised the only solution is to actually start working on upgrading the ERS to make it better. So that even might be an instant upgrade for this episode, to be honest with you. I'm yet to record the race. I'm actually doing this before I record the race. I don't know what I've done yet, but I'm currently also on the fence and potentially considering maybe getting an ERS upgrade, because I want to make sure that deployment doesn't run out so we can actually maximize a hot lap, because in the last couple of races it's been costing us, and it's been it's been affecting our grid position basically quite badly. So I want to make sure we can try and fix that and eradicate that issue and try and get it sorted out. Again, you can see here in Q1 on my first lap, look at the bottom right in the deployment, the bar is pretty much finished. I had to use medium ERS at times over the lap to try and balance it out, and it's really becoming an issue for us now. So we definitely need to try and iron that one out for the next few races.
Okay, there's 2 minutes left in this session and we're in the drop zone. We need a quick lap or that's qualifying over for us.
Now, as you can see, we're currently on a lap here, and it's going to be our best lap of the Q1 session, and I'm absolutely on at the moment. You can see in the ERS I've gone down to medium because through the S's I was pretty good, and also it's a good opportunity to save some ERS and that way not run out at the end of the lap. And so far the lap's been much better. I realised that on my first attempt I left it in rich instead of max fuel mode, so I made a mistake there. So this time I'm running it in max. However, now you can see we've encountered traffic in the form of Kevin Magnussen here. Really not ideal, getting right in my way through the Degners, and that definitely cost me at least, I'd say, 0.2 of a second easily, a quarter of a second, because I carry so much speed through that section and I had to get out of the throttle. So ultimately Magnussen costing me some time, and it could have been a lot better for us. But so far we're still up a couple of tenths on the Delta. P17 as things stand, and you can see in the bottom right the deployment now. We're just under halfway, but this is the part of the lap where we are pretty much full throttle for the third sector. We're going to come out the spoon corner now, and we're going to be on the power for a solid 15 seconds here before we brake for the chicane and the Casio triangle. So this is what I'm saying about deployment. We need to really look into upgrading the ERS. You can see right now we are up on our personal best and on the deltas, and we're on for a much improved effort here. The question is, will it see us into Q2? We brake late for the chicane, missed the apex slightly on the inside there. We'll bring it back for the apex for the second half of the Casio triangle. On the power through the final corner, open up DRS, keep it to the right hand side, and we do go P15, and we just managed to go through in that session to Q2. But ultimately the big issue here is the ERS and the fact that I just cannot have maximum power for a whole lap, and that is a big problem for us in qualifying, because I'm throwing away a couple of tenths of a second. You know, it's not ideal in terms of really wanting to find those extra tenths of a second. Now, as you can see, we are here in Q2. I left it right until the end because I only had one set of tyres to use, and we're going to just basically absolutely go for it. Now, straight away through the ERS is absolutely beautiful so far. Really good lap at this point, keeping it in medium ERS yet again because I want to try and save the battery for later on. Getting on the power nice and early through the Dunlop curve, up the left hand, up the hill, nicely done, avoiding the curb and the grass pretty much, and then trying to carry as much speed through this Degner 1 section, very wide there, slowing it down for Degner 2, third gear action onto the power, don't go too wide, and then get on the power again nice and early, and then just after the king, break down the second gear for the hairpin here. I got a little bit wide, missed my apex slightly, but luckily, thanks to the actual camber on the corner, wasn't too bad for time, and we didn't lose that much. On the power though, nice and early, traction absolutely critical out the hairpin as we now look for the break point into the spoon curve, bang on the 50 meter ball down at 5th gear, but I get it wrong and I run wide, and unfortunately for the second race running, we've messed it up and we've invalidated our lap, and unfortunately that's going to be the end of my qualifying session, and hopefully we can try and bounce back tomorrow in the race, but we definitely need to start improving the car and the upgrades.
And a very warm welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix, an event that has decided a Drivers' Championship 11 times over the years and has hosted some very memorable races as well. Who can forget Kimi Raikkonen's win from 17th on the grid in 2005, or Kamui Kobayashi's incredible drive to a podium in 2012. A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles, and it's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 racetrack. The drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. And keep an eye out for overtakes going into the final chicane. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Now I want to ask you about Daniel Ricciardo. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Verstappen, Kimi Raikkonen and Hülkenberg, Sainz, Perez, Gasly and Kevin Magnussen, Ocon, Grosjean, Daniel Ricciardo, Thomas, Van Dorn, Stroll, Charles Leclerc and Sergei Sorokin. Alonso and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right, here we are on the grid then for the Japanese Grand Prix. P14 after we got promoted by someone getting a penalty after qualifying. So row 7 on the grid, not too bad. However, we've got a lot of work to do and hopefully we can have a good race. Realistically, qualifying is not my strong point. Like I mentioned, the fact that we have ERS trouble is basically impeding my laps. However, in the race, that goes out of the window, and in the race it's neutralised because you don't run overtake or hot lap over a whole lap during the race. So with that in mind, we're going to be a lot more competitive in the race, and I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, unlike the last race in Sochi where we had that little issue with the penalty, which really ruined our chance of scoring many more points, hopefully this time we can just have a straightforward race and make the strategy count. Which, speaking of which, as you can see, we're going to go for the one stop yet again, softs onto mediums, avoiding the super softs in their entirety because they do not go that far into the race, and hopefully it's the best strategy for us. I'm looking forward to it. I always love racing at Japan. It's always a great track to race at, and hopefully we've got some decent pace around here to try and attack the people in front of us. So with that being said, let's jump into it for round 17 for the Japanese Grand Prix. Right then, here we go. Let's get ready for the 5 red lights here for the Japanese Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go. Not the best start. Quite a bit of wheel spin to be fair. We've bogged down quite badly on the soft compound tire as well. We're going to cover off the inside line and hopefully we can make it work and recover the positions up the inside there of Stroll and Van Dorn. We just squeezed Stroll out on the exit there, and we managed to recover our original starting position. So we've managed to recover from that poor initial getaway. Now we've got Ricciardo in front of us here, who is not at the best of starts. He's still in PE13 on the super soft compound tyres, so he's going to be fairly quick here. I can see Gasly there in P9, who's made some moves, and he's had a pretty good start as well, but he's currently holding up a couple of cars as we go into the Degners for the first time. Lots of patience required. The hairpin's going to be an opportunity for me here, because the AI do tend to brake very early. Up the inside of Danny Rick into the hairpin, second gear action, picking up the inside line. Ricciardo though goes around the outside beautifully and holds on, to be fair. He's got that extra traction on the super soft, so I'm just going to try and gauge slipstream and stay ahead of Lance Stroll if possible into the spoon corner. There we go, beautiful. Right then, I'll consider that a successful start. We didn't lose any front wing, we kept our car in one piece, and we're in the same position as where we started. So now we've got to try and make sure Stroll doesn't ruin my race by constantly using the slipstream to overtake me. If I can try and keep the distance, then that would be the ideal thing. Stroll goes up the inside, doesn't commit to it enough to actually get out of the corner there. Not the best, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. If Stroll starts doing that, I'm going to lose contact with the lead group, and I don't want that on this soft compound tyre. So let's get our head down and let's try and shake off Stroll if possible. He's on the same tyre as me, so it should be pretty doable. So let's get our head down and try and break away. Right, on to lap number 3 now. DRS enabled. We've done a good job here of shaking off.
Entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
Done a good job of shaking off Lance Stroll, who's now outside of a second, so we can now try and sit in this little window. We have got Ricciardo's DRS, so it's basically just playing a patient game now. The longer we go on these tyres into the race, and the better condition we keep these in, the better of a position we're going to be in later on in the race. And also, we do have a couple of soft runners in front in the form of Ocon there, but because Ricciardo's lining up for the pass, I want to wait, and I'll try and pass Ocon once Ricciardo gets by. I have no interest in racing super soft compound tyre runners, only those on the same tyre as me. Right, then we are comfortably ahead of Stroll now, matching my personal best, and we got DRS on Ricciardo, who is trying to get past that Force India. It's going to be frustrating for him because of his lack of straight line speed, so might take a few laps. We've got the Haas boys battling just in front of Ocon there for P10, so that might help us out. A potential opportunity for some points and some overtakes, as they're still going side by side here through the S's. We're going to really close up this gap now to these guys. In the meantime, also behind Randall and Stroll battling away, so we're definitely starting to break away now. Looks like Pierre Gasly's been overtaken by Sergio Perez as well. So right now we're sort of just, the Renaults have broken away into the lead pack, and now we've got this sort of midfield pack at the moment. So I think the opportunities here are going to be few and far between, so we need to play our cards right. I'm going to pounce on Ricciardo. I said I wasn't going to overtake super soft tyre runners, and I'm not. However, I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it as I want to try and pass Ocon and Magnussen, who are on the same tyre as me, and I feel like that I've got a better pace than them right now, so I want to try and make it count. Ricciardo's not going to make the move because he hasn't got the straight line speed right now, so he can remain frustrated behind me as I try and chase down Ocon and also the Haas cars and also my teammates. So let's continue cracking on with this. Ricciardo's looking for the move though. You can see my mirror as he switches to the inside into 130R. We're going to go side by side here. I'm going to go on the outside line. I just hold on there beautifully. A little bit more commitment from Ricciardo than there was from Stroll, which made me realise where his car was. But so far, looking good so far. Ricciardo's getting them exits, which are hurting me a bit. He's going to get on the inside and have DRS on me. But we just start to pull away into turn 1. Ricciardo makes the move stick. We go right back underneath him there. Lovely little move, a little bit of contact. Ricciardo came back into the racing line. I don't know if he lost his front wing or not, but I made the move. Now let's try and get these guys in front of us. Gasly's re-overtaken Perez here, so it's a good little scrap in the midfield. 2 Toro Rossos versus 2 Force Indias versus 2 Haas boys. So let's try and get to work. I know Gasly's on super soft, so right now we're looking good for strategy. Opportunity will arrive here into the hairpin. That's the overtaking opportunity that I have so far this race. We are extremely close to Ocon, who's not had the best exit into the hairpin. Up the inside of the Force India driver there, and we get the move done. Beautiful. Right then, up next, Magnussen. I think he's the last soft compound tyre runner, I'd say, and then Grosjean in front of him is going to be on super softs, if I'm not mistaken. So let's get past K-Mag as well if we can. Keeping it nice and tidy through spoon. I might be on the back foot here as Ocon might look for the overtake. He hasn't got as much traction on the exit as Ricciardo has, that's for sure. He's definitely not as close. He's gaining in the slipstream, but I'm running maximum.
Moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2.
I'm running maximum power at the moment, so I would be surprised if you got past into the chicane now. There we go, saw that out beautifully. And Gasly comes in already off of the super soft, so that's a very early stop.
In the pits.
Very early stop indeed.
Ahead is 3.5 seconds.
Ocon looking for the move, but I've just got so much straight line speed, it's unbelievable. And we stay ahead of the Force India, so very nice. We're now up into P9. I think someone else might be in the pit lane, so we're now into the points. So let's try and get past Kevin Magnussen then. Here we go then into Spoon. We're very close to K-Mag. I'm going to try and set up the car for the exit. A little bit wide. Not the best exit. Track extension warning. Into overtake mode now. Can we gain anything back on the Haas? It's going to be close. Through 130R. Seems like he's got a pretty good tow and some high engine modes engaged as he manages to stay ahead quite comfortably. I was catching quite easily into Spoon, but he definitely tapped the engine there. Perez comes in. That's going to put Magnussen on the back foot massively. He had to get out of the throttle. Here we go then. He's got DRS, but so have I. We're going to get a mega tow into turn 1. Can we make it stick? Oh, that's close, but we made it work. Kept our nose in, and we're up at the P5. Nice move on Kevin. And we are now the lead soft compound tyre runner from those who started outside the top 10. So we've done our job, we've done our bit. Up next is Romain Grosjean on those pretty knackered super soft compound tyres now. Okay, interesting. Grosjean stays out. Interesting strategy. Here comes Magnussen. He's stayed in my DRS and he's going to try and go for the re-overtake into turn 1.
Any issues with tyre wear right now? You should have good grip for a while yet.
And there we go. Magnussen actually goes for the re-overtake. He pulls it off. He covered me off beautifully there. I tried to go for the switch back into turn 2. Didn't quite work. He placed his car beautifully. So we remain behind K-Mag for a little bit longer here. Seems like we're pretty evenly matched, even though you can see for the S's I've got the edge on him in terms of downforce. Up the Dunlop curve, should I say. Still keeping in relative close proximity. I might try and get him into the hairpin and hopefully try and squeeze him out, and that way he'll get a poor exit. Here we go. Oh, we both lock up and I just slip up the inside on the power nice and early. I'm at full engine power.
Out in front.
Bit of contact there, so I'll relock on a little bit. I'll take the inside though into Spoon. Gonna place my car for a good exit. There we go, that's a very nice exit there. Good traction and acceleration. That's gonna buy me enough time to try and break away, I think.
Our gap to the car in front is 2.7 seconds.
And Romain comes in. We're now up in the P4. Nice bit of clean air. Magnussen's not in my DRS, so let's push on with this and get our head down. These laps are very important for us now. Okay, so the front three are on softs.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
And then we're all going to go for the one stop onto the medium. Hamilton being the first one to go for that strategy. So we are starting to near the pit window. Right then, it's been a great stint. Last couple laps have been very solid and consistent, within a couple of tenths of my personal best.
Pit now.
Yep, on my way, Jeff. We're going to come in this lap from the race lead. How far will we drop? I guess we'll wait and see. But it's been a very good first stint. These soft tyres have been brilliant on the car. I could probably go for a few more laps. They feel that good. But I'm going to stick to the strategy here because that way we lose the least amount of time possible. There we go. Solid pit entry. Well within the confines. No issues. Unlike the Japanese Grand Prix last time out. Now I just got to hope we don't get held up here. Nice quick stop from the boys. There's a Haas coming who's going to potentially ruin it for me.
Release.
Oh, that was close. But it looks like we might have just crossed paths there. But we just managed to come out in front. 2.1 stop. Good job from the boys. And now we're going to get straight back up to racing speed.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
And if you look at the mini-map, we've managed to jump Hulkenberg. He's on supers and potentially on a two-stop. Signs on the soft, so both Renault's on two-stoppers. Cold tyres there, giving me a bit of a tank snapper, but Hulkenberg's going to be in the back of me very soon on those nice and toasty super softs. But we managed to jump him, which is quite surprising. And we're up into 8th place, which is well into the points on the one stop. Some people still have to do another stop yet, so we're looking very good here so far. You can see in the mini-map, there's a little train of cars just behind us here, which are not really connected yet to myself and Nico. But it includes Gasly. You can see that if we just come out in that mix or just behind, it would have been like Sochi, and it would have ruined our race. But now we're in clean air, in P8 on this fresh tyre. So, like I mentioned, like Sochi, it's actually worked out this time in my favour beautifully. So, let's get this tyre to work, and let's see if we can try and stay ahead of Hulkenberg. It's going to be a challenge, but I'll try my best. Sirotkin in the pit lane. Here comes Hulkenberg meanwhile. I'm not going to battle too hard as we are on completely different tyres and strategies. And there you go. He makes the move with relative ease into turn 1. I'm just going to resort to following him. He should be in this lap or the next one anyway if he is on the 2-stop. Super and soft. So it shouldn't be too long before he comes in and basically releases me into free air again. There we go. Hulkenberg comes in as I expected. I usually slipstream as a chance to stay in lead and get back on target for fuel. We're going to come out pretty close here to the Ferrari. Sebastian Vettel there on the inside. We just have to back out of it though, unfortunately. Vettel on cold tyres though, he's going to be pretty slow. The main thing is I don't let Ocon back into my DRS, that's the main thing. So I'm kind of hoping Vettel can pull me along and I can just once again break away from Ocon's 1 second gap. Okay, we're well over a second clear from Ocon. We've done a good job here. Looks like we've settled in this P7. And dare I say it, Sainz in front of Vettel is going to have to come in. We've got Raikkonen in the pit lane as well in the other Ferrari, and he's quite a bit further back than his teammate, so we're going to come out well in front of Kimi. So that's going to be us in P6. Good progress, and like I said, Sainz has got to come in. So right now we're looking very good here for a top 5 finish if we play our cards right. Let's keep our head down and set the lap times. And there we go, Carlos Sainz comes in as expected. Personal best from me as Gasly comes in.
Is in for his stop.
So we are in P5 now, net position. We've got to try and finish the race here. Another personal best.
Gap to first place is 24.9 seconds.
Strong pace here, easily pulling away from Ocon. Raikkonen is going to be the one threat from now to the end of the Grand Prix, I think. He's going to be extremely quick. Right, Kimi fastest lap. He's now in clean air. He's going to come straight after me. And to be fair, he's pretty damn quick. Just had a look at my engine. My ICE is now on 50% wear, so this 5th power unit is starting to get a little bit second hand now. But to be fair, we've still got plenty of engines left in terms of not much wear, and also I think power unit 2 is still fresh and unused, so we shouldn't be needing to take any more engine penalties anytime soon this season, which is good. Right then, here comes Kimi. He's in my slipstream. Will he make enough momentum? Yes, he will. He's going to fly past me, to be fair. Definitely running some higher engine modes to maximise performance. That was close. Right. Let's now go down to lean mix. Good opportunity to save a little bit of fuel and get back on side because I'm actually using a bit more. In standard mix, like I'm actually going into the negative slightly, so hopefully the DRS can counteract my lean mixture, and that way we should be okay for fuel. But right now we're just basically keeping the engine, keeping the tyres and keeping the gap to Ocon behind. And let's just try and bring this one home in P6, which would be a fantastic result for us if we can do. Oh, Marcus Ericsson and Charles Leclerc out of the race together. Both Saubers out in one go. Not sure what happened there, but
in front is 7.4 seconds.
Very strange incident either way. Doesn't affect me on my race. We're currently P6. Gap to Ocon around 3.5 seconds, give or take. There's some debris, so I'm guessing something happened at the final corner, but very much under control here. 2 laps to go. Let's bring this one home. Right then, last lap of the Grand Prix. Hamilton wins again, back-to-back victories. He dominated this race. That Mercedes has gradually pulled ahead in the R&D race, and it's a very dominant car once again. And as Hamilton wins, it's Bottas P2, I believe, from Mercedes 1-2, and we're going to come home for P6, so not too bad. Good race, excellent recovery from qualifying. Hopefully now we can work on the car, but P6 for us in the Japanese Grand Prix.
Can't complain about that one. That was an excellent drive.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
Right, looking at the final race results, Hamilton wins the Japanese Grand Prix, Bottas in second, Mercedes absolutely dominating the race for a 1-2 finish, Vettel P3 and ultimately couldn't convert his pole on a two-stop strategy. You could argue maybe he had the pace, but ultimately the strategy let him down. Verstappen P4 in the first of the Red Bulls, Raikkonen P5, we come home in 6th place, best of the rest ahead of Kevin Magnussen, Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz and Nico Hülkenberg. Pierre Gasly, my teammate, just missing out on points in P11 there on the two-stop strategy. And further down the road, as you can see, we have Stoffel Vandoorne, Marcus Ericsson, Charles Leclerc, who retired, and Daniel Ricciardo, only P15, all race long, struggling to really get going, and ultimately nowhere near the points. Now, in terms of the standings in the championship for the drivers, after that one, you can see Hamilton leads by 13 points of Sebastian Vettel and 15 points from Valtteri Bottas, and with 4 more races to go, he's starting to put some distance between himself and his rivals as he nears that 5th World Championship. We are currently comfortably P7, however, we're only 3 points behind Daniel Ricciardo, so you never know. There could be something in that, maybe try and split the Red Bulls right towards the end of the season. In terms of the constructors, though, you can see Mercedes lead the way, and they are comfortably clear of Ferrari and even more clear of Red Bull. We are very much 4th best team, and we are not challenged by Force India or Renault whatsoever, so it's looking very comfortable for us. But now we're going to move into the laptop and look at potential upgrades, and also trying to also include those upgrades to try and future-proof the car for next season.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You were cutting your way through the field during the race. It was more like dodgems than Formula 1 today, wasn't it? Great, well that's everything.
Right, so here we are then on the R&D screen now. We're going to purchase some more of these upgrades, and they're not actually performance related there, as we mentioned before, for the chance to not have any performance loss going into next season with the regulation change. So we're going to purchase that one there. We're going to go for the next one, which is the energy recovery system upgrade, which is definitely needed for us, and we've got just enough points to buy one more for a major, and hopefully in the next episode we can buy the 2 minor ones that are left, and we might have enough points to actually get another upgrade. And I've been looking in the R&D tree. We need to start venturing off into this path here, which is ERS related, up the top here. And these two are going to really help us out with the ERS improvements. So we need to start working towards getting this tree stretched out to this crankshaft and then up into the ERS side of things to really improve the ERS some more. And also, I do want to get that aero upgrade that's pending on the car. But it will all come in due time. I'm going to definitely need the bonus points at the end of the season to try and help me out. But all in all, there are the upgrades for this episode, just basically conserving pretty much what we've done so far, and that way we won't get affected by the reg change next season. But yeah guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of Career Mode. If you have, then please do leave a like on the video. Also do get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content, turn on notifications guys to not miss a single video from me, and finally check out these 2 videos on screen if you have missed them. But other than that, thank you so much for watching guys. I'll see you in my next episode very soon. Goodbye.